Namaste, Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Are you all right? इनको आप जानते हैं? Do you know him? इनको देख के what do you feel like saying? सीताराम, भज मन राधे राधे
Govinda.
Radhe Govinda. So, Radhika Das ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for having me.
Now, the power of kirtan. Why is it so important? What does kirtan do to a person? Srila Prabhupada said sing, dance and pray, but why?
On the very base level, chanting helps us to transcend the mind. Mantra. Man means the mind. And tra is short for trayate, which means to free the mind, to overcome the mind. Even as I'm speaking right now, some of you are not listening, you're thinking about lunch, or your children, or you're worried about what you look like on camera, if that camera's pointing in your direction or not. The mind is always ticking, and it becomes either our best friend or it becomes our worst enemy. And so by chanting on the very base level, you're able to overcome the mind. You're able to transcend the mind, to become truly present with self and truly present with Supreme.
So, Prabhu, let's connect all these minds here together. Let's start with getting to that base level of chanting. You have a technique how you get everybody to do. You don't have your instruments with you today. So, यहाँ पे थोड़ा impromptu we'll do. Shall we?
Yeah, sure. If I
All
can
right,
get
so
everyone...
I'll play assist. That's what I'm going to do.
Something.
Okay, we're going to move this.
I don't have my
bottle.
instruments with me, but we can try something. So it's said in the Shastra that when you clap your hands together, and chant the name of God, the name of Hari, that your karma changes. You're all well-to-do people, and I don't expect you all to participate, but I'm inviting you. Here's a Londoner coming to your country, and my hometown as well, my home country. I'm going to invite you, can I invite everyone to clap this with me?
Give me the mic. I'll hold it for you.
Bhajaman Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Govinda Bhajaman Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. Let's hear it. Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. Jai Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. Bhajaman Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe. Govinda Radhe. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much.
You know, we should get them to do something simpler.
Simpler?
हाँ, because ये आवाज खोल नहीं रही थी. Clap because the beat was a little complex.
Yeah.
So let's just get them to do Hare Krishna.
Sure. You guys up for it?
Yeah, simpler. Yeah? Yes?
All right.
हाँ, ऐसे गाना है आप सबको. That's when the elevation will happen.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Now you say.
Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone please. Hare Krishna Krishna. Closing the eyes, open the heart. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
अब थोड़ा कनेक्शन बैठ रहा है. See, Krishna says, Uddaret Atmanatmanam na Atmanam avasadhet. That means you've got to elevate your mind. You've got to move away from that pulls you back. Say
Yeah, I think you're right.
How does Kirtan help?
How to?
How does Kirtan help? And there are a lot of people who may look at you and say, what is he selling to me?
Sure.
So how do they react? When you enter the stage, when you enter an audience, a lot of them, when you started this whole thing, people would have come to you and said, what is it that you're doing, mate? How is it going to make
I think what's really incredible about the time that we're living in is that previously, if you were to do this exact same thing, and even some of you still have that same sentiment, that if you were to chant like this, oh, no, they're religious folk that are brainwashed, that don't really know too much. But I think India is moving in a very, very progressive way towards in reclaiming its spirituality. And I think that's incredible. And the whole world right now is watching India and the way that India practices, how Bharat practices spirituality, Hinduism. And so what's happening now is people are feeling welcome to discover who is God for them and what is spirituality. And I think the reason why is because we've moved so far away from it that the next generation, my generation and people who are younger to me, their parents didn't force them to do anything. They didn't force them too much, just the way that they were forced. And because of that, they're starting to go, okay, well, who is Krishna for me then? Who are all these ancient deities? Who are these ancient murtis? Who are they to me? And so we're in a really, really cool time right now where we can explore and express very publicly our spirituality, our Hinduism, our bhakti. And so I'm very, very happy to be in this place. I'm very honored to be somehow a servitor of this practice.
No, I'm very curious. How did you become Radhika Ranjan Das?
Yeah.
How did you find Krishna? Or let's say the teachings of Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, get initiated, get drawn to him.
It's a far out story. I'll tell you the short version. I was forced to go on a youth retreat. And on this youth retreat, I was sitting there with my phone by my side because, to be honest, I didn't really want to be there. My parents forced me to go because they thought maybe I'll learn something. And as I'm sitting in the kirtan, I'm sitting at the right at the back of the room. And my phone starts buzzing, and it's my girlfriend. And she texts me saying, it's over. Breaking up with me on text message. I was heartbroken. And the way I saw it at that moment in time, I had only 2 or 3 options. I could either go to my room and cry about it. Oh, I didn't tell you. I tried texting her back, and I had one of those. Do you remember Nokia 3310?
Yes.
Where you have to press 3 times to get 1 letter to come.
Yeah.
So I was texting furiously, trying to just, what's going on? Why are you breaking up with me? Message send failure. I was in the hills of Madrid. It was in a place called Brihuega. So no messages were going through, and I had a few options. One is I go to my room and cry about it. Or 2 is maybe I get stuck in with the chanting that's happening here, and maybe that will do something. And by the end, I felt so happy. I felt so free. I felt so liberated from my pain. And so then I went up to the person who's leading that kirtan, and I spoke to him, and his name is Sachinandana Swami. He's a German Swami. And after 10 years of hearing from him and traveling with him and finding that he's a very authentic person, I decided to take Harinam Diksha, and that's where the name, I used to be Ravi, and then he gave me the name Radhika Ranjan. But in the West, they can't say Radhika Ranjan. It's very difficult for them to pronounce, so I just kept it very simple, Radhika Das. So that's how the name came.
Did you ever think that moment in London would go viral? Because the syntax concept of bhajan clubbing,
Yeah.
you seem to be the genesis of it.
Yeah.
So today it's caught on, and thankfully so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be candid. I did not come up with the term bhajan clubbing. That's kind of been put on me. I'm somewhat the poster boy for that right now, so that's okay. But when I did that, no, I didn't expect it to go viral. I did not expect it to go at all where it was. And see, my whole motivation, my whole intention is to share this practice with those who are not born here. Like, I don't speak Hindi, for example. मैं समझता हूँ, सब कुछ समझता हूँ, लेकिन बोलने में थोड़ा सा दिक्कत है. So I speak in English and I present our culture to Western audiences, audiences in the US, audiences in London, audiences in Europe, audiences all across the world. And I had never intended for it to go viral. I didn't know what viral was at that time, but it did, and I'm very happy and I'm very grateful. And I feel like the internet is the means, the medium by which we can really share messages. And I'll say one last thing before I hear your next question. Martin Luther King, he says this really profound thing, that those who love peace must learn how to organize themselves as effectively as those who love war. And if you look at those who love war and creating division, they don't take Sunday off. They don't take a break. And so in the same way, for peace lovers, for people who want to share a loving message with the world, we have to also use the tools that God has provided us. And God's provided us the internet, Krishna provided the internet, so I'm going to use it.
And what was the reaction? I know this whole trend that we see. I asked you this because I remember seeing your video in London in the, what is that, Royal Hall? Was it?
Union Chapel.
Yeah, the chapel, the Union Chapel. And that's when I said, these are people who are singing, dancing, and people from all walks of life with no, care and gay abandon. They just seem so happy singing, doing. And you brought music there, and then you added various layers to the kirtan. How does it affect the people? When do people come back and say something to you when you finish that? In fact, that's where this whole trend started. Of course, there are others who, like you rightly credited for the today term of bhajan clubbing.
Yeah.
But the idea is that people decide to go to bhajans and kirtans today rather than going there and indulging themselves into other aspects, which again is to try and buy a few moments of freedom.
Yeah.
It's looking for that escape velocity from reality, you know.
We're all trying to free the mind. Why do people drink so much alcohol? Because they want to free the mind of being nervous. They want to free the mind of all of the troubles of their life. They want to free the mind from all the things that are happening in their life that are not happy. And so we're trying all these different methods to be happy, Buy a nice house by the sea, buy a flat screen TV, 1 million gigabyte MP3, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. We're trying all these different ways of trying to be happy in this world. We buy particular clothing, we dress ourselves in a particular way to be happy, but only to have forgotten that happiness is an inside job. There was once a prisoner in a jail, and he tried every which way to exit from the jail, only to realize years and years later that all he had to do was pull the door from the inside. And it's the same for all of us. That if we can somehow remember that life and happiness is an inside job. Yes, be successful, be everything that you want to be in this world, but don't forget that that won't bring true happiness. That true happiness is an inside job. You have to feed the bird within the cage. The bird within the cage.
So beautifully said. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
How did you find what actually makes you happy? Because we're all human, right? We've got great days. Sometimes we get out of the bed and we feel, today's my day. I'm the king, queen of the world, kind of thing. Other days, oh my God, the whole world is on my head. It's such a big burden. There are days. How do you keep that positivity to say, listen, just do your job and leave the rest to Krishna, How do I go back to that basic code?
By finding true humility. And I'll explain that. Humility is something that's used a lot in spiritual circles, and it's often misinterpreted. People think humility means when people can walk all over you, that you're really lower than the lowest. But humility doesn't mean to think less of yourself. Humility doesn't mean to think less of yourself. Humility means to think about yourself less.
Beautiful.
When we're so self-absorbed, when we're so internally connected with me, my, self, how do I look, how do I speak, how do I present, how do I, that's the source of our unhappiness. So you ask me, how do I be happy? By trying to think about myself less, by not being so self-absorbed.
That's the... So the true interpretation of Aham Brahmasmi is not that I am God, but God is within me.
Yeah.
So
when you're thinking about yourself less, then
Yes.
naturally you have more time to think about others. You have more time to think about God. You have more time to think about the higher things of life. But the truth is, we're usually so self-absorbed. And it's not something that I want to critique about people. It's more a case of, I do it too. I mean, this beard line doesn't do itself in the morning. You know? I'm thinking about myself when I do it. But if we can dedicate more and more time to being less self-absorbed and thinking with humility about greater things, then I think there's happiness waiting for us.
you're doing concerts, you're coming to Bharat so often. Has there been ever a time when you got a packed audience and you just don't feel like singing?
Yeah, of course.
Has there, how do you turn around and say, listen, I got to do this. You do this, do you do it then because you want to do it? Or you do it then because you have to do it?
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference between why we are doing a job. Either we have to do it to pay our EMIs, or we want to do it because it makes us happy.
It's a very good
question.
question.
I'm asking you that.
Of course, there's times where I'm presenting and there's 10,000, 15,000 people in the audience and I'm not feeling anything. There's nothing going on. And so it's sometimes the case that it's not that I'm loving what I'm doing, but that I love the person that I'm doing it for more. It's like in a relationship with your wife.
Lovely, beautiful.
It's like a relationship with your wife or your husband or your partner. Sometimes you might, you don't necessarily love them every time you buy them a present. But you love them so much that, okay, no, I'm going to dedicate my time, my energy, my everything in that resource towards that person. And so, yeah, of course there's times when I'm sitting there on a stage, I'm not feeling anything, but I just try and remember the person I'm doing it for.
And based on the audience, let's say if it's a younger audience, it's an older audience, does the music change?
Of course, yeah. I think that's been a big point in what I'm trying to share, is that you can be spiritual in suit and tie. You can be a bhakta in suit and tie. You can be a spiritualist wearing jeans and trainers. Because ultimately it's between you and your God. It's between you and your divine, your Krishna, your Ram, your Shiva. It was never between you and them anyway. And I think that's what I'm trying to share, is that yes, I might change the detail. I might change it to have a guitar playing, and I might have it with a drum kit, or I might have a saxophone playing in the kirtan. But the point is that if the essence is love of God, prema bhakti, if that's the essence, then the detail can change.
All right. So then how would you change the detail for us here at Rising Bharat? This morning, 10 a.m., after a long night for a lot of us,
Yeah,
a busy
me too.
day for all of us on a Friday, and just after breakfast, first session this morning, how are you going to set the tempo for this room here? It's a mix of a lot of people. There are millennials, there are Gen Xs, there are Gen Zs, all of us here.
I would just use one word, and that word is remember. You all know everything I'm speaking right now is not new information to you. I almost feel like I'm preaching to the crowd. The point is that we have to actively use our awareness to remember that there's so much more to life. There's so much more to this human form of life. And I think that what we often suffer from is forgetfulness, that we forget that it's our birthright. It's our birthright. How do you say that in Hindi? Birthright.
Janm Siddh Adhikar.
There you go. It's your birthright to remember that you are a loving, connected person with the Supreme, with God. And when you remember that point, the essence point that you are loving, you are loved by the Supreme, and you are always carried by the Supreme, then you'll feel happy internally because you realize this is all an external show, an external play, a drama, if you will.
All right. So I'm going to do something with you, Prabhu.
Sure.
I'm going to request you to take us to that level. The next 5 minutes are yours. And I'll stop talking. I'll tell you whatever, and we will give you the beat. We'll sing with you. We will pray with you. We'll dance with you. But I'm going to request this. Can you do that for us? Can you just set the pace for all of us for the whole day? Yeah.
You up for it? Yeah? Okay, I don't have any instruments, so the only instrument that we can use is clapping, because you can see I don't have any saxophone or guitar or anything. So I'm going to ask, even for you, you're going to have to get involved.
Yes.
And hold the beat down. I'll keep this here for me.
Can you guys hear?
That sound okay? Okay. So I'm going to ask you all to sit tall. Some of you are not going to comply, and that's cool. You can do you if you're not into it, and you're like, no, I just want to text on Instagram. You do you, no problem. But those of you that are actively with me, if I can invite you to sit tall and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just come to the awareness that you are more than your body, you are more than your mind, that in your essence you're a spiritual being lovingly connected with your God, with your Krishna. And in one voice, just to set the tone, let's chant the one syllable, Om. And all I want you to do is hear that sound vibration which will create peace within, presence, a connectedness with the ultimate reality. Deep breath with me. Om. Deep breath twice more. Last one, deep breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to try chanting once again. And I want you to keep your eyes closed. We'll chant Om Namah Shivaya. I request you to just try your best not to think about everybody else around you, not to think about the cameras and the lights, not to think about what other people will say about you. This is between you and your God, between you and your Supreme. Mahadev is described, Lord Shiva is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as being the gatekeeper to bhakti. That with Mahadev's mercy, with Mahadev's kripa, one can once again reclaim their loving devotion to God. So pray. When you chant, I know some of you haven't done this for years, some of you haven't done this for lifetimes. Between you and your God. I'll chant, and then in response, please everybody chant together. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam. Kalornasti vanasti vanasti bhaktiranyata. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So I know that many of you are expecting me to dance and clap and jump around with you. But I think that sometimes these meditative moments also make a difference to our consciousness. And I hope that that was something that really helped and change your awareness to remember that you're something more in this lifetime. You're meant for something more. It's your birth.
Fantastic. Do you all feel better? Thank you.